I've been doing this so many years. That is hands down, I think, the best camp kitchen I've ever seen on the face of a slide out. Hello and welcome everybody to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and that is the first time I've had a chance to put my hands on the 273 Wildwood or Salem. They make two names for the exact same thing. Thankfully, they use the same model numbers to make this easy. You might have seen a similar video I've done where basically the floor plan is flip-flopped, where they put all the windows over on the door side. This one puts all the windows over on the poop side of the camper, but it comes with, like I said, the best camp kitchen I think I've ever seen mounted in the face of a slide out. Ever, from anybody, big fifth wheels or anything. It's got a full fridge, a real sink with a drain, which, like, how many camp kitchens don't even have real sinks anymore? And this thing's rocking one in the face of a slide out, which is way, way harder. Cool little griddle on the side of it right there, and it's compact, but it's feature packed, you know. These have an enclosed heated belly, radiant barrier through the belly, tank heater standard on all your holding tanks. This year they've gone to carpetless slides, which is just an awesome pet-friendly feature. Or somebody like me, I'm crumb-believable when it comes to camping. I can find a way to just drop crumbs all over the place and just make a mess of things. So, you know, cleaning stuff is a lot easier now, and just they keep just nailing all these extra little features like Goodyear tires now that they didn't have last year. Plus it's wide stance, which is really handy because this has that Sir Mix-a-Lot long and strong and down to get the camping on kind of thing, where it is an RV. When you have opposing slides and a bathroom and a bedroom, it's going to be pretty long. The wide stance axles will help that. I will still probably generally recommend, I can't talk, a 3/4 ton pickup for this, partially due to the length, as well as the fact that with cargo, this thing comes in just under 10,000 pounds. So I always try to put that little bit of safety stuff out there first. Now it's got some other things that I like. It's got a couple things that I'm not a big fan of, and it's got a couple things that you just may want to know about before you go pulling the trigger on something. And I want to point all that out as we go here. So let me know what you like, let me know what you dislike, and tell me, like, what is the one thing you would change on this one, given your opportunity? Now, like I said, this is my first time finally getting my hands on this floor plan. The laminated Salem Wildwood divisions, the Heritage, Glen, and Hemispheres, if you look at their floor plans, it is like a murderer's row. Some of the best floor plans you've ever seen in travel trailers, all mashed into one. Some of the most popular stuff, they're nailing it. And they've really finally started to, I think, find their own voice and find their own stride. And I'm becoming a fan. They're not without their little hiccup faults. We're going to talk about that. But the vaulted ceiling in here, a lot of brands do that, but it's nice that they do that. This is now a standard 15,000 BTU air with no need to upgrade. You can get this 50 amp. You can get it with second air prepped. You can also get it with a second air installed, which is exactly what we're going to get to see here today. One thing they do not do is a different decor. So I hope you like what you see. If not, I am sorry. That is all they offer. I do like, though, like I said, they got rid of the carpet for the 2023 season. They went carpetless in the slide. That is a marine woven material. Now, my personal preference is when the slide floor matches the main floor. The irony about that is that slide floor material is actually a higher grade material versus what they're using in the main floor decking anyway. So it just kind of is one of them things. Now, that is a nice big divided theater seat, and it is a double two-fister. Both you and the person next to you could both have two drinks going on at one time. One thing you can't really do is snuggle with one another unless you pretend one of you is Santa Claus and you hop in the other's lap. And recently here, my wife don't like it when I pretend she's Santa Claus. Something about me, you know, pulling the beard on her chin. Yeah, you can imagine how that didn't go over very well. Oop, I'm falling down here as I try to slowly slide myself into the theater seat, which I've obviously failed to do. They do a mirrored front fireplace on this now. A lot of your Salem Wildwoods have recently gone over to that, and I've seen some mixed reviews on it. I'm kind of curious, what do you think about that? Or would you prefer it's just jet black like that Jumbotron TV? That is, by the way, a smart TV, which is another one of the newer updates here, as you can see by that. Oop, let me get it on camera. Handy little remote control here. Wow, I'm just striking out left and right here. I do not understand why you folks watch what I put out sometimes. Now, looking over here, this is interesting. The sofa side windows open for airflow. The big panoramic viewing window on the back does not. And now sometimes I've actually seen them not make both sofa side windows open for airflow. You see the sofa side and the slide side windows all open for airflow in this, but for some reason, that big window on the back, that does not open for air. So I hope you appreciate, like, I will tell you, you know, the things that are awesome also with the janky, and I've seen a couple janky things. I've got one or two more to point out on this RV, so kind of hang with me here. Again, we are ventless flooring, which is kind of nice. And the way that they do the power outlets on the rear wall, that is my nerd preferred way of doing it. When they are just above the countertop level of the side stands of the rear sofa, to me, that is the best, most functional place to put those. They're protected from spills. You don't have to get 5-6 foot cables or anything like that. It just makes more sense. It's just easier to me. And a lot of RV manufacturers, especially in fifth wheels, have started mounting the TVs way up there, 8 foot in the air. That right there is an easy viewing, no neck wrecker entertainment center if I ever did see one. Now, there's a couple cool things that they've done here, like lots of easy reach outlets. But I told you there's a couple things that make me go, come on, guys. The fact that that power outlet is crooked, it probably just needs unscrewed and twisted. It's probably capable of being perfectly fine. The fact that it is like that, though, is just, it's tripping my triggers, obviously, you can tell. Now, that is a 12-volt DC compressor fridge, 10 cubic foot plus on those. I think that's a 10.7 cubic foot variety, nearly 11. There is, if you prefer it, a gas-electric two-way swaption available. You can also get a table and chairs instead of the booth that we're looking at right here. So given that information, like what booth, what table, well, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. What table and what refrigerator setup would you prefer? I really like that just kind of easy open access, like appliance shelf right there, coffee maker shelf maybe. The thing though, is this RV does lack a traditional vertical pantry. But as you're going to see, I think this thing has enough storage. I don't think it's a problem myself. I think it's going to do just fine for you. But what if you're sitting back here watching TV from the rear sofa? Well, one of the cool things is you can see Alakazam. That TV can twist and shout around. And if you want to kind of have a conversation corner and split the difference with somebody on the rear sofa, you can do that too. Or what if one of you wants to sit in the theater seat while the other's on the rear sofa lounging? You can do that here too. Now, these are wall hugger style theater seats, so you don't have to, you know, rustle them away from the wall. And I point that out because still today, not every manufacturer uses a more wall hugger style theater seat. And there are still plenty of manufacturers out there that require you to wrestle that sucker. Now, the booth can obviously fold down into an extra sleeper. I like that they give you the doors for the extra storage. The table and chairs, a lot of people just like, it feels a little more open and airy. The storage under the sink isn't great. You could maybe put a small wastebasket in there. If somebody needs to invent a triangular shaped wastebasket. But in the slide itself, you see that there's good prep space. There's good storage down below. I like how they left it hollow under the microwave so that it doesn't feel all boxy and closed in. I like how they added that extra window overlooking the stovetop so that you can actually look out the door side of your RV at least a little bit, because they don't really let you do that from the entry door unless you have it open for screen door mode, but that's not exactly air conditioner compliant now, is it? Now, like I said, that opens for airflow just like the sofa side. Well, I don't think I said that, but there you go. Now you have it. Sealed edge, thermal foil counters all the way through, and they're even kind enough to punch a hole in the sky, or in the ceiling here, called a skylight. I screwed my own stupid old-timey phrase up, so you can see what the weather looks like through that frosty cover right there. Actually, on a sunny day, that'll give you a lot of free light, which is obviously why they call it a skylight. I'm an idiot. And speaking of skylights, up here in the bathroom, one of the things I was delighted to find is I did not need my head up in the bubble of that thing. It's only a 6.5 foot sidewall, which usually means my head would touch the ceiling panels without a skylight. But with the vaulted ceiling, it's just tall enough, right where it counts, that ain't a problem. If you're looking for better airflow, though, you may want to consider upgrading from the 4-inch fart fan. Thankfully, I know a couple people at a few Bish's RV locations that are perfectly capable of handling that little problem for you. Rectangular shower, giving you a little more elbow room than a radius. And that toilet, that is fairly fluffy friendly. And especially in like their big fifth wheels from the Heritage Glen and Hemisphere division, the butt napkin roller's too far away. Now, I'm a tall guy with long arms, but I could actually reach that one pretty much okay. If you're smaller, you may have a little bit of difficulty with that. The good news, you get one of those little standing toilet paper roll things, and you're going to be just fine. Now, that looks super deep when it's closed, but I don't want to mislead you. It's not wasted space. When we get over to the bedroom, you'll see what they're doing behind door number 2. Which, it occurs to me, is a really good incognitus code name for a bathroom. Door number 2. Now, I kind of keyed into something here. There's a lot of RVs that have like a big gap above the door of like the bathroom or the bedroom, and you don't see any of that here. It's very private, which I think gives just a little bit of peace of mind to some folks. Something else that's nice, like you see the lights on above the bed, you can reach those easy when you're laying down in bed. You just reach up. But the lights in the ceiling, well, not everybody can reach those quite as easily. So it's kind of nice that they give us just a little wall switch right there. Now, remember, second air conditioner up here, that is an optional piece of equipment that's been added to this one. As long as it's 50 amp though, like if it's built with 50 amp and second air prep, we could always throw a second air in it. Depending on your camping style, if you're boondocking a little bit, you may prefer, we could install like a big XL vent fan, you know, up in there. That's a little bit more your preference. This is also, a lot of the Hemispheres and Heritage Glens have Camp Queens, and I'm having trouble getting this one fully in the frame because this is not one of those. This is a 60 by 80 True Queen with plenty of room at the base of the bed to be able to walk around, navigate around. Now, you may have noticed in my little flyby footage when I was taking a look at the seating and the storage and everything, blackout nightshades on the windows. That persists up here in the bedroom, which is really nice. They also do one of my favorite things with their little headboard power pockets here. So both sides of the bed have their own little individual dresser drawer. That's great. And this, did you notice the overhead doors in the bedroom here and above the sofa? They actually have their own little struts to hold themselves open. So many brands that run way bigger dollars than this company right here have recently started peeling stuff like that out, I think as a measure of cost control. And it's kind of funny, on their year-to-year update notes, they failed to tell us where they were removing features, but they like to tell us the features that they've added. I like that Wildwood has not taken things away. They've only made it a little bit better. Now you see that extra closet space over there because, you know, this is not a full east-west bed slide model, but they do make one of those. I believe it's called a 308RL, and I believe I have video of that sucker. So if you wanted an east-west bed slide, they make that too, although the living room is flip-flopped the other way, but you get the idea. They make something like that. TV hookups right. Did I already talk about the TV hookups across the bed? I think you know what? I'm not. I don't know. Let's go to road mode. Also, shout out to the parents with an unattended child that decided to grind their dirty shoes into our bedspread right here. All right, so with slides closed, I wasn't really sure. I haven't seen this model before. And yeah, you can sneak your way through here. I'm wondering, like, we can get to the bedroom, we can get to the bathroom. Can we get to the refrigerator? And the answer is yes, but. Like, at a glance, I went like this. I was like, sweet, but that's the freezer. The refrigerator? Well, that hits the island. Here's the thing, though. RV suppliers, like refrigerator suppliers, they build these things to be able to go to any floor plane that can fit the physical dimensions of it. That means these hinges are reversible. So if you wanted to be able to get to this fridge in transit, you could. You just need to flip the hinge. Now, when you're at your campsite, I do think that would be a little janky. I think this is the better way to use it at your site. But if road access is really important, you could do that with this camper. The more you know. So if we talk towing, I kind of touched on this when the video began. What's it going to take to haul this around? Because if you just start looking at the weight tags and stuff on this, there's going to be a lot of people go, ooh, I think my half-ton can handle it. And the thing is, what is and is not half-ton towable really, I think, drastically varies depending on where you're at in the country and what you're going to do with it and where you're going to take. Pardon my Bish's jacket on the front, by the way. It's nice and warm and comfortable in here. What I was getting at, though, is I'm from Flatland, Southern Michigan. If you have a really hefty half-ton down there where it's flat, where there's no wind, you know what? It might work just fine. The truck's going to work, but you'll probably be okay. The wide stance axles are going to help. The thing is, though, if you start going to areas that are really windy or have a lot of hills and valleys or mountains, literally, this ain't going to be half-ton towable. So my generalized safe recommendation for something like this would be some variety of 3/4. So do with that information what you will. Now, if there's any people who have this RV or floor plans like it out there, if you have, like, please chime in the comments and share some of your towing experience. Kind of help everybody out. Did you notice how this has big pass-through compartment storage on both sides? So they're not doing like big door, little door mismatch kind of crap. They're both slam latches. They're both magnet holdbacks. They're both just simple, easy, one-hand operational. And did you also notice the location of the battery disconnect all the way up there in the curvature of the nose, where cargo can't shift and smash and break it or anything like that? You may have also noticed the black box down there near the floor line. That is your solar charge controller, and that is one of the, I think, more significant improvements they've made versus the last year's version. Last year, it had roof solar prep only, and still by default standard, that is what it is. But last year, this had only a 100-watt solar package, and this year they've gone to 200 with a 30-amp controller, which I think is really nice. Now, I'm kind of curious. Did they nail it or did they fail it by putting that big awning right over the face of this slide out here? And I'm eyeballing it. I'm not sure we have room to fully open this up, but I'm going to get what I can get to give you an idea of how much space will be left here. Sweet, we got it totally out. So this isn't something I always get a chance to do because a lot of times I'm limited on my power resources, but as you see here, at this nice display space, I had all the opportunity in the world to get this stuff open. Now you might notice how this awning arm right here is a little G-Haul kitty wampus. That's because this is an easy tilt awning. With literally just 2 fingers, you can tilt that sucker down to give yourself a little bit of rain runoff. What's really cool about those Solera awnings, if you leave it like that and roll it up, it ain't gonna break. It'll sort itself out and it'll come back out extended the next time you use it, which is really nice. I'm not gonna say whether I feel there is or is not enough room under the awning still available, because that's a more shallow slide. Like, you can see how it doesn't even stick out further than the steps down there. I would like you to leave a comment and let me know, do you think there's still enough viable, functional awning space here? So I'd appreciate hearing that. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you don't realize we have someone special. Over here in Oregon, there's this young lady named Van Life Mary. And she knows her stuff on little motorized B-vans. So if you're out in this kind of neighborhood or you're just curious, you want to learn about them, make sure you give Mary a call. I'll make sure, hopefully I remember to actually edit the video and put her information on screen. Mary, I hope you have a good night there. She's actually on her way out to a customer right now. I didn't want to hold her up or anything. As you can see again, no window in the entry door, but I digress. Now Goodyear Endurance tires down here, wide stance. They were wide stance last year, but they were an import tire. So the 4 tires on the ground, now Goodyear Endurance radials, 87-mile-an-hour rated. Not quite enough to take the Doc McBrown time machine back in time, but pretty darn close. If you're like my Uncle Gary, you full send it anyway, brother. Outside TV hookups. And you might have noticed how I specified the 4 tires on the ground. The spare still an import tire, so just full clarity on that. This, though, like I said, I think they're doing the best camp kitchen I've ever seen mounted on the face of a slide out ever before. And here's why I say that. I like that they're using a griddle instead of that little 2-burner stovetop like people used for so long. I like that where there's a water feature, there is, also known as a sink. I don't know why I had to get all fancy saying it, but it's a galvanized rolled steel countertop. And they have a real sink with a drain into a holding tank and a big fridge. Well, a big camp kitchen fridge, anyway. There's so many things here that are done right. But the thing that I think is probably one of the very best qualities on this, that's the fact that, like, the sink and the countertop level is actually down here at your waist instead of being up here at your chesticles. Have you ever seen outside camp kitchens, especially in like big fifth wheels that ride really, really tall, mounted in a slide, which shoves them up even higher, and the sink is like up here, where it's like all you could do is use it to splash water at your face? You can't like actually do anything with it. The fact that it's down here is so much better and so much more useful. And this is proof. So many manufacturers say, it can't be done. Bam! Busted right there. Now, got a couple other details here. Nope, camera's backwards. Dang it. Like I said, a couple other details here for you. We're back to that topic of the awning. Some people prefer split dual awnings. There is an advantage to the one giant awning, though. Split dual awnings, when you have a camp kitchen here, there's not really space to be able to mount that awning arm. So I think they actually probably did about the best they could. But the other thing is, it is, in a sense, operating like a free slide-out awning. And think about what is in the slide under that awning if the awning's open. Your kitchen. What's in that kitchen slide? The refrigerator. Well, slide-outs are not insulated to the same degree that the main cabin, the ceiling, would be insulated. So, having that slide under some kind of awning so that it's shielded from direct sun scathing while also still allowing air to flow through and cycle nicely, even though that's a 12-volt fridge, it could still struggle in some wicked climates to maybe keep up. That's very cool. That's no pun intended. That is a potentially handy thing. Now you saw the underbelly that's enclosed. We have tank heaters. It's forced air heated. And they've had a walkable roof for years, but nobody knew it because they gave you no way to get up there. They are now all prepped for one of those telescopic removable ladders. And what you're not seeing here is what else you can do with the roof. On the roof, by default, there's a plug up there where if you want to add some solar panels, you can. You just run the wiring down to where the charge controller is located on this one, install charge controller, be good to go. If you get it from the factory, it's a 200-watt panel with a 30-amp controller. We could always do pretty much any solar upfit that this thing can physically accommodate. You know, some people are like, I want 6,000 watts of solar. I don't know, there's enough room for all that up there, but we could go crazy like that for you if you wanted to. Somebody might ask, though, what about inverters? There's zero factory allowance for any sort of inverter type stuff on this, but again, that is something that our team could potentially handle. I will tell you, though, when you start getting pretty crazy on that, a lot of times people find out the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Now, like I said, Salem, Wildwood, Heritage, Glen, Hemisphere. They're literally the exact same things. That's why they look almost identical. They have the same, the only difference is just the name of the decals on them. We carry both names at different stores. So the one link in the video description to check for pricing and availability, whether it's Salem or Wildwood, they're the same thing. You can check all of that right there. So, you know, if you appreciate how we're showing you the good with the bad, hit that subscribe button, like our video. Leave me a little comment. Like I said, what is like your favorite part of this? And what is that one thing that you would change given the opportunity? I'd love to hear from you. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.